Yo, what's going on, man? Today is March the 17th. Happy St. Patty's Day for everybody that celebrates. This is the ChrisBeCappinn Show. Welcome in. See if we can find some ways to make some money. It's a ton of games on the board for today. Got to be able to cipher through it, though. Got to be able to cipher through it. All of them. There's not betting value in all of these games. We do not know who's going to play in some of these games. So we'll get into a quick recap, talk about what jaXon likes, and then we will I'm only going through a couple of the games too. It's more like a best bet show because I have placed 2 bets. I got a couple things I'm looking to pull the trigger on, but we'll see how the day goes on. Coming off, getting to a quick recap, coming off a profitable day. Mark Williams was the only loser yesterday. It took him under 13.5 points. If you watched the show yesterday, I talked about why I like Mark Williams to go under his points prop, and he was actually the only player I think on the whole Charlotte Hornets team to go over yesterday. They scored like 83, 85 points or something. Mark Williams was just getting a bunch of bunnies at the rim. Like they just weren't guarding him. Everybody else stayed under their points prop. So that was a little frustrating. Quentin Grimes up and over was an easy winner. Dallas and Philly, I think, finished at like 250. That was an easy winner as well. And a lot of things on the short list cash yesterday as well. I think if you just tell the whole short list, it was 6-3. Luka went up and over his 3-point prop. There was a couple other plays. I can't remember all of them, but I know that I looked back and with some winners. So try to keep that going here today, man. A couple profitable days in a row. I need to see them, and hopefully we can parlay that into today. Brian says, "Good morning, Chris. Lakers first quarter again today. Boy, Jaxson Hayes opened a lot of options for the Lakers yesterday. Let's get them tonight. Yeah, we need another win, man. I know it's a makeup game for the Lakers today. I'm not going to talk about that game on the show. Interested to see if Luka even plays in the second leg of that back-to-back. I feel like we should be able to beat the Spurs without him, especially with that spread being all the way up to 9. But we'll think that Jaxson Hayes should be able to go crazy today. I might even look into Jaxson Hayes props a little bit later, because we know that the San Antonio Spurs don't have a true center. So if Jaxson Hayes is out there, I mean, he could look like Shaq with Luka on the floor. So Jaxson Hayes props I will look into. And what's up, Brian? We needed a win yesterday, bro. Good to see you in the chat this morning. What up, Jamel? Says, let's crack them again. What up, Justin? Marquise, Rise and Grind, my brother. Says, let's get back to it. Nets first quarter still cashing. They've been good. Good morning, Tasha. Good morning, PZ. What up, Mark? Justin says he played that Grimes for plus 125. Chasing that plus money. I like it, Justin. Glad you cashed, bro. Morning, Bitsy. What up, Jay Hank? And let's get to it for today, man. So we'll start off with jaXon, your AI sports betting tool. I got 2 plays for you guys today because I didn't really like the first one too much. So I asked jaXon for a second prompt. So jaXon is, of course, a AI sports betting software that you can utilize to save yourself tons of time on your research as far as player prop size and totals. There is a link in the description to get 50% off, and there's a new tier that's only $9.99 a month. But if you want to check it out for free and not without even signing up, you can go get 5 free prompts per month as well. So check jaXon out today. I typed in the prompt was, what is the best ATS bet in the NBA today based on last 10 game advanced stats? And jaXon tells me, I don't know if you're ready for this. jaXon tells me to take the Miami Heat plus the 7.5. I don't know. I can't get behind it. So recent performances, the Heat have covered 4 of their last 6 spreads as 7.5 point underdogs. So if they're getting 7.5, they've been profitable. The Knicks are only 9-16-1 against the spread when they're favored by 7+ points this season, showing inconsistency in covering large spreads. The Heat ranked 7th defensively in efficiency, allowing just 110 points per game over the last 10. Defensive strength could help them keep the game close. The Knicks, while strong offensively, ranked 6th in points per game, have struggled to maintain large leads, especially against teams with solid defenses. The Knicks will be missing Jalen Brunson, which could have a significant impact on their offensive flow and their ability to be able to cover such a large spread. The Heat are also dealing with some injuries, but have shown resilience in recent games, particularly on the defensive end. The Heat have been competitive in recent matchup against the Knicks, keeping games within single digits. Their ability to slow the pace and force turnovers, ranking 5th in opponent turnover rate, aligns well with the Knicks style of play. So yeah, it's funny because the line opened 7.5, it got pushed to 8.5, and now it's come back down to 7.5. So maybe sharp money is on on Miami. None of my money will be on Orlando though. And the second prompt I asked was, what's the best total in the NBA today based on last 10 game advanced stats, and it goes right back to that game. Jackson likes the under 210.5 between the Knicks and the Heat, which I see 212 and 212 right now. So definitely 212.5 available as well. So definitely shop around. But it says the Knicks are only averaging 116 points per game last 10, while the Heat are averaging 109. Combined, that's 226, but the Heat recent offensive struggles and the Knicks defensive struggles suggest a lower scoring game. The Heat have gone under in 6 of their last 10, while the Knicks have gone under in 5 of their last 10. The Knicks rank 12th in defensive efficiency, allowing just 112 points. The Heat are even better defensively, ranking 7th with a defensive efficiency of 110. Both teams play at a slow pace, which could limit scoring opportunities. The Heat rank 28th in pace, the Knicks 25th. This is a key factor in keeping the point totals low. The Knicks are without all-star point guard Jalen Brunson, which significantly impacts their offensive flow. Without Brunson, the Knicks have relied more on their defense to win games. The Heat are also dealing with some offensive inconsistencies, further supporting the lower scoring game. The total of 210 is one of the lowest on today's slate, reflecting the market's expectation of a defensive battle. Sharp bettors are slightly favoring the under, given the team's recent trends and defensive profiles. Take the under 210.5. The combination of slow pace, strong defenses, and recent scoring trends make this the best total bet for today. So yeah, check Jackson out. 2 plays, same game. Jackson likes the Heat plus the points. Yeah. And Jackson likes the under. And I would probably be looking more towards the under before I would look towards the total. But that's what Jackson likes today, man. Let's jump into it for today. We got the Miami Heat and the New York Knicks up first. Let me get to my notes. So I don't have a bet in this game. I'll walk through this situational spot real quick, and then I'll talk about a player prop that is on my short list. So it looks like on the New York Knicks side of things, let me just update injury report, make sure I got it right. But I know I saw Wiggins on the injury report. He is listed as questionable due to a leg injury. We'll see if he plays. No idea if he actually plays. Alex Burks is out and Jovic is out as well. And then Jalen Brunson is the only player that's listed on the New York Knicks side of things. So Knicks have won both this season. They both games have actually gone up and over the total, 214.5 and 219.5. Totals are actually 7-3 to the over in the last 10 head-to-head meetings between the team. Miami has really struggled, not just in their last couple games. They are 2-8 straight up in their last 8 games, 0-5 against the spread. But they're also they don't cover on the road. They're 12-21 against the spread on the road. 7-3 to the under in their last 10 games. It's his third game in 4 nights and 4th and 6th for the Knicks. For the Miami Heat. On the Knicks side of things, they have been slightly unprofitable at home as well, just 14-17-1 against the number. This is their first home game after 5 straight road games. They played 8 of their last 10 games on the road, and they're 8-2 to the under as well. So a lot of things kind of aligning to the under before even jumping into the matchup. When I'm looking at the X's and O's yesterday, Miami should struggle to score. Like I said, they're the worst offensive rated team last 5 games, taking a bunch of shots in the paint where the New York Knicks have been top 10 defensively. And if they're not shooting shots in the paint, they're going straight to the 3-point line. Knicks are also top 10 defensively against 3-point shots as well in the last 5 games. Games should be played, like Jackson said, at a slow pace. Miami's 24th in pace last 5. Knicks are 28th in pace. Knicks are also second best defensive rated team last 5 games. So as much as I wrote in my notes last night, lean under to 102.5 for the Miami Heat to get to, but it does feel uncomfortably low. Although they have scored just 91 points against Memphis, a fast-paced team that doesn't play a lot of defense. They scored 104 against Boston. 91 versus Memphis, 91 against Boston, 104 against the Clippers, and 102 against the Hornets. And these are just some of their last few games. So I guess I'll lean towards just a full game under. I do think Miami's defense should be able to slow down this New York Knicks offense as well. The Knicks are a bottom 10 offensive rated team since Brunson got hurt. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at there. As far as player props, there is one that I'm looking at. If I just want to say this out loud real quick, if I do play this, it'll be a smaller play just because I'm not really big into taking these super big plus money plays. But I'm looking at Karl Anthony Towns today, and this is Outlier. There's a link in the description for a 7-day free trial if you're interested in checking it out. This is Karl Anthony Towns this season in his last 10 games. I'm looking at his 3-point prop. You can see he's only up and over in 4 of his in the last 10 games, only averaging 5.4 attempts. You can see that right there. He is shooting about 37% though, and playing 36 minutes. We expect the minutes to be there. But if we look at Karl-Anthony Towns on the full season, right, and we look at games played without Jalen Brunson, we can see that this number gets better. Look at this. So without Brunson, he's played 5 games this season. You can see that he is averaging closer to 3 threes than 2. And he's gone up and over in 4 to 5 games. Now, the reason why I like this is because the 3-point shots have been up recently for Karl-Anthony Towns. If we just take this off and we just go last 10 games, you can see that he's averaging, or maybe it was last 5 that I looked at. Excuse me. He was averaging something. One of these numbers I looked at, I was toggling between. He is averaging 6 attempts per game over his last handful of games, but neither here nor there. We just go back to the full season. We look at games played without Jalen Brunson. We can see that he's averaging right at 5.6 attempts. So what I had looked at, he was averaging 6 3-point attempts, and without Brunson, Miami is a bottom 10 3-point defense in the league. And against the center position, they don't do well either. You can see that they're 15th against the power forward position, 24th. With 6+ attempts, Cat has cleared his 3-point prop in 12 of his 18 games, which is 66%. If you add that he's playing a bottom 3-point defense, he's cashed in 7 of his 11 games, good for 64%. So this line is plus 150 over on FanDuel. You can see it. On BetMGM, Bet365. I'm sorry. You can see that number right here. That's the way that I was looking in this game. I think that he's going to get more usage. I think that they'll put Khalil Ware on him, and I think he'll take Khalil Ware outside of the paint. If you're Coach Thibodeau, that has to be the game plan, right? To get Ware out of the paint so you can actually go score down there. So if Bam doesn't guard him and Khalil Ware guards him, I think Khalil Ware will struggle to play so far away from the rim, and Karl-Anthony Towns should get enough 3-point attempts to get up and over his 2.5 made threes in this game. So that's what I'm looking at as far as player props. As far as side, I'm not sure. I can't take points with Miami right now. They've looked that bad. I don't like the travel spot for the Heat though. For the Knicks, we just want to say that they, like I said, 8 of their last 10 games they've had to travel, and total I do agree with the under though. You can still get to 212.5 as well. Let's see what the thoughts are here. Elsie Swell says Jackson Hayes to get 15. What up, Eddie V says, what up, Chris? The same way you feel about not betting Miami is how I feel about Phoenix right now. Got to. Phoenix is terrible, man. I'm just like, I'd be low key like air punching because I just don't fade Phoenix. Yesterday was the perfect opportunity to market bought Phoenix all the way down from 4 down to 2.5. They get smoked yesterday, but that's neither here nor there. What's up, Eric? Appreciate you for tapping in. Let's see. Adam, what up? What's good, Adam? Appreciate you for tapping in. What's up, Linguick? Says I strongly disagree with Jackson today. Best of luck. Knicks forever. The heat of tanking feels like the Knicks spot. I'm on the Knicks, says Adam. And this, I just want to double check it real quick. Is this I think this is a national TV game today. So it wouldn't surprise me if they tried to come out with a little something today, keep this one close, the Heat that is. But yeah, I can't play him. Also looked into Tyler Hero. He has the best matchup on the Miami Heat. I know he's been struggling recently, but the Knicks are the 30th. They're the worst defense against the pick and roll. Tyler Hero's probably going to take a bunch of shots. And this is the ESPN game. This is the first ESPN game today. Good morning, Anthony. Says happy St. Patty's Day from Boston. Best holiday, no gifts, just booze early and often. Dale says Knicks minus 11 margin. Been giving fire in here. Okay. Knicks 0-7 ATS last 7 at home. So I agree with Jackson. PZ says a lot of going back and forth here. Ryan says Miami early. Also don't trust them in the second half. I can't bet Miami right now. I just can't confidently come on here and not even on here. I can't confidently put my money. Like, it wouldn't make me feel good. It would feel like I left some money somewhere on the ground and I got to trust that it's going to be there when I get back. I'm not betting on Miami right now. That's just my thought process. Taylor says OG 18 points. We did catch OG a couple games ago against Portland. I did not get back on the wave, but this is very similar to what I said. He says 15 plus field goal attempts in all 4 games without Brunson, averaging 30% of his points via spot up. The Heat 22nd in most spot in against the spot up games versus team, 16th for worst with 14 plus field goals. He's over in 14 of his 19 games, averaging 22. Like the handicap, Taylor. Like the handicap, my brother. Very similar to what we talked about the other day. Love it. What up, Fear Elite? Shout out to RVA. What up, Tariq? Another VA guy here with us. Says Lena Knicks as well. McBride for Antonio over his 4.5 assists. Miguel says the under information for the Thunder Bucks matchup was gold. Big ups to you, Chris. I wish I would have played it, Miguel. I did have a personal play. I played it so late that I couldn't give it out because I was like cutting my son hair and doing a whole bunch of stuff. I did hit on Kyle Kuzma under his points. We talked about that yesterday too. But I left it. It's not on the recap because I didn't give it out. Official play. I didn't officially play it, but I did make some money on that yesterday. That Thunder defense looks good. What up, Can't Stop? I appreciate you for tapping in. Let's get over to the next game. I'm taking too long, even though I'm not going through the whole card today. So next one is the 76ers and the Rockets. I did bet this one. Like I said, today's more of a little best bet show. So we start with the injury report. We got, and this line is up to 15.5. It opened at 13 yesterday. So these numbers were coming out yesterday, and I was like, man, I got to get on them because they're moving. This was one of the ones that I played. So no Amen Thompson, no Reed Shepherd. On the Philadelphia 76ers side of things, like they could get some guys back yesterday. We'll see what happens. It is the second leg of a back-to-back. Bona didn't play yesterday. Drummond didn't play yesterday. Kelly Oubre didn't play yesterday. Lonnie Walker didn't play yesterday. Paul George is listed as game time decision. He probably won't play. And then Maxey, I'm guessing, isn't going to play. Like, who knows? Kyle Lowry. They got more players on the injury report than they got left. But you know what they did do? They did go into Dallas yesterday and still won. So, 76ers are tanking. I'm pretty sure they don't want to win back-to-back games. And the Rockets are the much better team, and it's not even close. Rockets, I think, have the best efficiency differential over the last 5 games. I want to say it's like a minus 18. They did beat Philly earlier this season when Philly was a lot better, 122-115 in overtime in Philly. They were laying 5.5 points in that game. I think it was the second leg of a back-to-back, and it did go up and over the total of 220. And this one actually opened 217.5. It's up to 222.5. If I'm being honest with you guys, I don't think it's high enough. I still don't think it's high enough. Philly games are only over games from here on out. That is my recommendation for betting Philly. We cashed easily yesterday. They can score the basketball. They play super fast, and they don't play any defense. Philly, San Antonio, only looking towards overs. There's a couple other teams as well, but those two teams specifically, over has been cashing. So Philly, 14-19 against the spread on the road. They do have back-to-back covers against the Pacers in the Mavs yesterday. Second leg of back-to-back, third game in 4th here. Houston, 18-16-1 at the crib. 4-1 ATS last 5, 7-3 ATS last 10. So they've been covering. They've won 6 straight. Third game in 4 nights here. 4th and 6 as well in the last game of a 6-game homestand. So they've comfortably been at the crib, really just beating people up. I know they didn't cover against Chicago, but we all kind of saw that one coming, especially with it being second leg of back-to-back. So when I dug into the matchup, Philly has been taking a lot of threes. They're 7th and above the break 3 frequency and accuracy last 5 games. Houston, top 10 defending the three-point line last 5 games and on the full season. Philly's also bottom 10 in offensive rebound rate. Houston, third best offensive rebounding team in the NBA. They should dominate the boards here again. Houston should also get a lot of their own misses. They're second in offensive rebound rate. Philly is allowing the 4th most rebounds because they just don't have a big outside of Bona, I guess you could call. Yabusele minutes on a minutes restriction. So I laid the points with Houston here. I did play to 14. I tried to get it and get 13.5, but the number was moving too fast. I did lay to 14. It's up to 15.5 now. I would wait right now to see if some of those guys from Philly that got ruled out end up coming back, because this is not my favorite play on the board for today. I think it is up to 16 now. Houston should win this game by 20 plus. But if Philly gets some of their guys back, like if a Lonnie Walker and a Kelly Oubre come back and maybe a Drummond to help on the boards, I could see a way for, Philly to keep it close, at least maybe early. But I do think it's a comfortable win for Houston here. Also, I did consider the Houston team total up and over. I talked about Philly being a terrible defense. They're bottom 10, bottom 5 last 5 games. 9 of the 10 opponents that Philly has faced have scored. 9 of the last 10 Philly opponents that they faced have scored 118 points or better, including the Mavs last night as well. They allowed 121 on average in the 13 games since the All-Star break, and they've only held 2 opponents of the 13 under their team total since the All-Star break. So Houston should be able to score the basketball. Even if they miss shots, they should be able to clean up their own boards. And that's why the way that I would play it right now is the Houston up and over their team total, whatever that number is. I don't think 222 is high enough. I know that this moved 5 points. I don't think it's high enough, though. So that's my thought process on this game. Let's see. What are we thinking here? Adam says, check Wiggins first quarter points over. I'll take a look. Can't Stop says, I have to take the Heat team total under. Cast 11 straight for Wiggins. We'll see if he plays, Adam. That's a nice one, though. Appreciate you shouting that out. Justin says he played the team total over. It says heavy in his pocket. Think they get the 120. I do too, Justin. I don't think it's a look ahead spot either. When I was looking into it, I don't think I put it in my notes. But Houston, I forgot who they play next. I know it's a road game for Houston. I just don't think it's a. They play Orlando, and that's on Wednesday. That's who they play. So yeah, they just beat Orlando. So it's not like it's a look ahead spot in my opinion. LBA says, what up, Chris and fam? We going undefeated today? I sure hope so. I sure hope so. TC Best says, what's up, Chris? Let's get this money today, bro. Appreciate you for tapping in, TC. Tariq says, Houston trifecta and their team total over. So heavy on the Houston wave today. I think it's the right side, man. I do think it's the right side. Next game up we got is the Detroit. We got Detroit and New Orleans. This line is supposed to be not at 65. They're not getting 65 points. They are getting 6.5 points, which is where this line should be. And it just moved to 7 as the show started. I did see it move to 7. It was 6.5 earlier. Actually opened, I want to say it opened at 6. 6 is the first number I saw. Yeah, opened at 6 yesterday afternoon. So for the Detroit Pistons and the New Orleans Pelicans, we have an injury report that has let's see. Nobody on it for Detroit. And then for the Pelicans, Zion was ruled out for personal reasons in that last game that they played against the Spurs the other day, and they lost. He's listed as questionable with personal reasons. Not sure if he'll play. And then Misi is questionable. He missed the game, I think, as well. Or did he play? I'm not sure if he played. And then Kelly Olynyk is listed as questionable as well. Misi has missed the last 2 games. So if they get Misi back, that could help a lot. If they get Zion back, of course, that could help a lot. And I was on the fence yesterday whether I wanted to play this one early or wait for the Zion news. The more I looked into the matchup, the more I said, I'm cool with the play that I'm going to make. So we look at the Pels. They dominated the Detroit Pistons. That's why I love Detroit in this spot. One of the reasons why I love Detroit in this spot, the Pelicans have actually beaten the Pistons 7 straight games. None of them have come this season. This is the first matchup, but 7 straight times that the Pelicans won. Detroit is, I think, in a nice little bounce back spot today. They are 21-11-2 against the spread on the road. They play much better basketball on the road. Back-to-back non-covers and losses straight up. They lost to the Wizards, and then they lost to OKC. So I'm thinking that they'll be really focused, locked in on both ends of the floor here, coming off back-to-back losses. We do got a Pelicans team that's been slightly profitable at home. They're 18-15-1 against the spread at the crib, only 3-7 straight up in against the spread in their last 10 games. Back-to-back losses to the Spurs and to Orlando after they beat the Clippers by 7 and 7.5-point home dogs last Wednesday, whenever that time was. I'm looking into the matchup yesterday. A couple things stand out for me, which is why I like Detroit. It should dominate the paint on the season. They're 6th in paint points scored per game, and the Pels allowed the second most points in the paint. Last 5 games, New Orleans is bottom 10 in points in the paint allowed as well, and Detroit is top 10 in points allowed in the paint. So Detroit should be able to get downhill, score the basketball at will. Cade Cunningham, dishing to Tobias Harris, to Sir Thompson, and Jalen Duren, and everybody else. And then on the opposite side of the floor, we're looking at a Pelicans offense that's really relying upon scoring in the paint as well. Lately, they've lived in the paint. The last 5 games, they're 3rd in paint scoring. The Pelicans are. And a lot of that has to do with Zion. They're just not a great three-point shooting team. They're one of the worst bottom 5 three-point shooting teams. So I am expecting them to struggle on this side of the floor because I mentioned New Orleans kind of living in the paint. Detroit actually allows the fewest points in the paint in the league over the last 5 games. So it's not that easy to score against the Pistons in the paint. Pels also, like I said, bottom 5 shooting the 3 on the full season and last 5 games. So they should struggle to score. Detroit also still a 6th rated defensive team. They should be able to force some turnovers. They're 7th in turnover rate for their opponents' last 5 games. And the Pels are turning the ball over at the 4th highest rate as well. So I do like Detroit in this spot. Pels 27th in defensive rating last 5 games against the 13th most difficult strength of schedule. Detroit also plays really well. This is their road favorites. They're 9-3. Crazy to say it, but they're 9-3 straight up and against the number when they're laying points on the road, 75% ATS. With no real look ahead spot, I think that they'll take the game really serious, riding a 2-game losing streak. Like I said, and they're also 9-3 against the spread coming off back-to-back losses this season as well. So I do think it's a spot for Detroit. I did lay the points with them minus the 6 yesterday. I also considered, and I don't think it's a bad look, especially like we'll see if Zion plays, the number may go up. I think Detroit's going to slow this Pelicans team down. So I also strongly considered a Pelicans team total under. The number's 113.5. I don't think they scored 114 points today. So that's something else that's on my short list. Not sure if I'll play both, but I did lay the 6 yesterday with Detroit. Let's see what we're thinking here. And then I think it's one more game I'll go through before we get off of here. I'm not going through all of them, like I said. What up, Doms? Appreciate you for tapping in. Corey says, morning, Chris. Let's eat. Love that energy. We need that energy at 8 o'clock a.m., Corey. Love that. Justin says he put Duran 12 boards in his pocket. I like that as well. He should dominate the glass today, whether Misi plays or not. The other thing I wanted to mention, I didn't write this down, but I was looking into it last night. The Pels have the thing about the Pelicans that's interesting is that they still play hard. They go down, they crash. They're like one of the top 10 best offensive rebounding teams over the last 5 games. Detroit don't give up a ton of offensive rebounds. They're one of the best defensive rebounding teams in the league. So, like I said, I heavily lean towards that Pelicans team total up and to go under as well. But we'll see if Zion actually plays. Dom says he likes the Pels team total under. My guess is Zion doesn't play. I'm not even sure if he plays, but I like it. Pistons first half minus 3.5. This is where I don't know, Doms, because the Pels have actually been one of the best first half ATS teams in the NBA. Now, it's not to say that it's going to happen here, but let's just go over to Moneyballer real quick. And there's a link in the description if you guys want to check out Moneyballer as well. If we go look at this Pistons and Pels spot on the full season, you can see that if we just scroll all the way down to here, ATS wise, the Pels are this is crazy to think. The Pels are 18-16 against the number in the first half as a home dog. 18-16 is crazy. And it's not to say that the Pistons are bad, because they are 8-4 straight up, 8-4 against the spread in the first half on the road. So something got to give. But yeah, I just talked about this as laying points on the road. Pistons are 9-3 against the number, but 18-6 got to be one of the best first half ATS numbers in the league. So yeah, take with that information, do what you want. I'm not saying that I'm fading Doms, but I'm just saying give me the full game. In my opinion, is what I want here in this spot. Let's see. Mark says I'm on Detroit with you, Chris. Let's do it. Let's cash it, Mark. Can't touch Duran after that one rebound game. Hand says. Justin says he likes Detroit first half as well. TC says I'm on Trey under 3.5 assists. The under hit 30% of his last 10 games. He's been averaging 5.5 last 10, but last 5 he's averaging just 3.2. Okay. Jalen Duran over his boys today for sure. K points and assists for LBA. Motown equals more money. I need it today. Jose says under 234. I don't think it's a bad look. I see what is moving. Something moving. The total is moving. It's moving from 212.5 down to 211.5. Jackson likes under. I was leaning under as well between Miami and New York. It is what it is, man. I agree with Detroit. Tariq says. Dropping down says JB Bickerstaff was pissed after that. He was. If anybody didn't watch that post-game interview, expect a fine. Just put it like that. Expect the NBA to fine JB Bickerstaff today. I do not think he's gonna make it to this game without being fined today. He went off, man. He went off for sure. DC Mo says great content, bro. Appreciate that, man. Shadow says we taking K props in this one. I'm not touching them, Shadow, but it's a nice bounce back spot for him for sure. Brian laid the points. Justin says baseball back in the AM. He likes Hernandez over 1.5 total bases at plus 100. Lingowick, I will not be touching NCAA this year. Only thing, maybe I'll tell someone what Jackson likes, but I just don't have time to really dive into it too much. All right, let's go through one more game, man. I just want to get to this Kings and Grizzlies game, and then I'll tell you guys why I'm skipping all the rest of them, all the rest of the games for today. But let's start with this one. So we look at the injury report. Memphis did open as a 2.5-point favorite in this game, a 2-point favorite, and this flipped to the Sacramento Kings laying 2.5 at the crib now. So we look at the injury report. We got Ja Morant listed as out. That's what flipped the line. Santi Aldama, it looks like he's listed as questionable in this game. He has missed. Well, he's actually doubtful. He's missed 6 straight. So I guess you could probably count on him not playing. Scottie Pippen Jr. is listed as game time decision with the wrist injury. truly questionable. And then I think that's it. On the other side for the Sacramento Kings, Trey Lyles is on the injury report. He's listed as questionable due to a back injury. He was unable to play on Friday when they lost to the Suns. So you have two teams that split so far this season. Memphis won and covered the first game in Memphis. Sacramento got their revenge. They won and covered game 2 in Sacramento. Totals are 1-1. I think the first one went over, second one went under. Overall, last 10, the totals are 7-3 to the under. Memphis, 18-13-1 against the number on the road. They're only 1-4 against the spread in their last 5, 5-5 straight up, 2-8 against the spread in their last 10. Memphis has not been covering. It's also third game in 4 nights, fourth game in 6 nights for the Grizzlies. And they're going to be shorthanded without Ja Morant and potentially probably no Santi Aldama. But do we lay the points with the Sacramento Kings here? We got a Kings team that's one of the worst ATS teams at home, 10-19-2 against the number at the crib, 4 straight losses for them, 3 straight non-covers, and they've had to travel for at least 10 straight games. I don't like the spot here for the Sacramento Kings. I think if Memphis can, when I was looking into it last night, first thing that jumped out to me was under. And I'll tell you guys why. I just didn't write it down. But I think as long as Memphis can play, as long as Memphis can slow down Sacramento in the mid-range, Sacramento want to shoot a lot of mid-range shots. They shoot more mid-range shots right now than the Phoenix Suns right now. I mean, everything is a mid-range shot with them. A lot of DeRozan and Zach LaVine and Keon Ellis and Malik Monk. It's a lot of mid-range shooting. So if Memphis can slow them down, I do think that on the other side, Sacramento is going to be able to slow Memphis down. What does Memphis like to do? Get out and run, right? Number 1 in transition frequency. Sacramento actually number 1 in limited opponent transition frequency on the season, 7th in transition in opponent efficiency in transition as well. So I do think that, Sacramento should be able to slow Memphis down. Memphis defensively has actually not been that bad recently. And a lot of it, the number's going to be a little bit inflated for the good because they just held a Miami Heat team to like 91 points. But they are still top 10 defensive rated, 11th defensive rated team last 5 games. They're forcing the 4th most turnovers, which is not something we typically say with Memphis. Sacramento struggling to shoot the 3-point shot. That's where Memphis really, really struggles to guard. They're the worst 3-point defense over the last 5 games. The Memphis Grizzlies are. I just don't trust Sacramento to be able to consistently knock down threes. I would be taking the points here, or maybe looking towards the Sacramento team total under. I don't think that I think the total's too high, and I think that both of these teams can slow down the other team. So a guy like Desmond Bane gets a lot of his points in transition. Sacramento, like I just said, a really good transition defense. Sacramento is 28th in offense and defensive efficiency last 5 games. I just can't lay the points here. It's either Memphis plus the points, even without Ja Morant, even in the fatigue spot. Because I do think, like I said, having traveled 10 straight games, I think that is a fatigue spot here for Sacramento as well. So, yeah, it's just a lean right now. We'll see what happens, throughout the day. Maybe I'll add it. But, yeah, I'm definitely leaning towards taking the points with Memphis in this spot, thinking that they can go on the road and win this one in Sacramento. I know Sacramento needs to win in the worst possible way. If it gets to 3, maybe I'll take Memphis then. But I don't want to lay the points here. And I do I agree with the total. The total is actually going up now. I don't agree with that. I think that both of these teams can slow down the other team. So I don't like the total as much. Memphis is taking a lot of shots in the paint, and Sacramento not really guarding the paint well. Actually bottom 5 in both paint frequency and opponent paint frequency and accuracy. Memphis top 10 in opponent paint frequency and top 5 in opponent paint and top 5 in paint frequency and top 5 in paint accuracy last 5 games. But the Memphis is still shooting a lot of threes and they're not making them. So I like under. Maybe a Sacramento team total under is probably the way that I would be looking here. And that's the last one I wanted to go through. So we'll get into a quick recap. Let's see what you guys are thinking about this one. Brian says Dodgers in Tokyo tomorrow. Smash. Jared Jackson Jr. will have a big game. He should. I could definitely see him having a big game. I think his number was priced about right, though. I did look into his player prop. Adam says, wow, Memphis a dog on the road against Sacramento. Kind of speaks volume, doesn't it? Yeah. It screams Sacramento. I guess it screams Sacramento. I wouldn't do it. Triple J props, Memphis +2. I'm laying it. Hate the way Sacramento been playing. Like the way Memphis has been playing defense recently. And like I said, the thing that they really struggled with is the thing that Memphis has really struggled with. Let me just change something up real quick. So the thing that Memphis has really struggled with is they're actually top 5 in mid-range defense, top 10 in mid-range opponent mid-range frequency and accuracy last 5 games. And I talked about Sacramento taking the second most and making the first most. The thing that Memphis has really struggled with defensively is they can't guard the three-point line. Remember we talked about this with Cleveland when they was playing on Friday. Sacramento's not a three-point shooting team. Full season, bottom 5. Last 5 games, bottom 2. Like they're shooting 31% from the three-point line. So if my weakness is not your strength, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to take control of that. Tariq says he'll take the Kings team total over. So thinking opposite of me. Memphis Kings over first quarter, Brian says, and he likes Memphis plus 2.5. What up? Brian says Pistons minus 6.5, Wizards plus 5.5, Bulls minus 5.5. Ugh. Sacktown for me, Chris. Corey says, he says Memphis is frauds. They play like trash without Ja. Bane is overrated and a bunch of G League players. Sacramento runs them out of the gym, Chris. Okay, Corey coming here with some conviction. That's about 13 exclamation points after that. So you're going to lay the points with Sacramento. They not frauds, though. Defensive rating of 125.8 in their last 5 games. Okay. Couldn't disagree with you more, Corey, but we can be on opposite sides. That's fine. Taylor says Bane under 22.5 points, scoring 27% via transition. I just talked about this. Kings allowed the least points there versus teams ranked top 10 via transition. He's under in 16 of his 29 games. Yeah, I could see that. Look, Taylor. The thing that scared me, because I did look into Bane this morning. The thing that scared me is their 3-point defense. I think Sacramento could struggle. Outside of scoring a lot of his points in transition, Bane also, he gonna have a lot of volume here as the pick and roll ball handler in the spot up, right? 15% of his points in spot up, worst spot up defense in the NBA. So that's what scared me off there. Memphis has been on the do not bet list for a while. I agree with that. I didn't bet it. I'm just saying that they're the worst of the 2 evils. That's all. Appreciate you, Anthony. Appreciate that for sure. Lingowick says he likes the over and I like under. So a lot of conflicting things here. As far as, before I get into a quick recap, the 2 things that I did better here. So the Indiana and Memphis game and Minnesota game, a clear pass for me. No idea who's going to play. Neesmith is questionable. Miles Turner is questionable. Siakam's ruled out. Halliburton is questionable. So easy pass for me there. I did like the under. I do agree with the way the total's going. When I capped it, it was at 231. It's down to 229.5. It opened at 234.5. So when I was looking into it yesterday, it'll be under for me. But I have no idea who's going to play. So easy pass there. I also didn't talk about the Chicago and Utah game. Bulls free diet. Don't want anything laying points on the road. Don't care how many points they land, who they land them against. I don't want anything to do with that. Jamal Murray, Jokic, all listed as questionable. Nothing to do with that game at all. Golden State also on the first leg of a back-to-back. They got the Bucks coming to town tomorrow. Toronto, Phoenix. No way I'm laying 8.5 points with the Phoenix Suns, of course. That total has come all the way down from 234.5 down to 227. I guess I agree with that. See who Toronto puts out there today, and probably end up taking the points with Toronto if I'm being honest. Like that already instantly kind of, like raises my eyebrow. No way I'm laying 8.5 with the Phoenix Suns, man. Just can't do it on the second leg of a back-to-back with that roster they got over there. That heart that they play with, can't do it. Washington and Portland, not a game I'm interested in betting either. See what happens with Portland on the second leg of a back-to-back after, I think they lost to Toronto last night. And then the Wizards coming off a big win. Jordan Poole hit a 28-foot three-pointer and Jamal Murray grill a couple nights ago. I think Washington's covered a couple games in a row now. And then the Spurs and the Lakers, we'll see if Luka plays. That's why I didn't really want to handicap it too much. See if he plays on the second leg of a back-to-back. The Lakers got the Nuggets on Wednesday in a nice quick little revenge spot. And we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that's one of the reasons why I stayed off of that game. So those are my thoughts. As far as what I did play, Houston minus 14. Also would play that game up and over the total. I think Houston's gonna score like a lot. I think Philly should be able to keep up as well. Detroit minus the 6, also strong lean towards the Pelicans team total under 113.5 if I'm adding something in that game. And then Karl-Anthony Towns, I talked about his points prop as well in that spot. So let's add New Orleans team total under. Only reason I'm not going to bet New Orleans team total under right now is because I think it's 113.5. Is because I want to see if Zion plays. If Zion plays, the number goes up. But yeah, you can get 113.5. And then what else did we talk about? Oh, I'm only looking towards Memphis plus the 2.5. I'm not laying points with the Kings. And yeah, I think that was it based on what we talked about so far. Yeah. So I'll leave you guys with that. Best of luck on whatever it is that you're playing, man. I do appreciate everybody for tuning in, tapping in, showing love, helping me cap the games, all that good stuff. All the resources I use are here. Remember, Jackson likes the under. I do like that under as well, but the total is continuing to drop. So I'm going to stay off of that between the Miami Heat and the New York Knickerbockers tonight. Under 212.5 was available when the show first started. It's gone now. So check Jackson out if you're interested. Outlier, we brought it up to look at Karl-Anthony Towns up and over his 3-point prop. There's a 7-day free link trial in the video description. Moneyball, same thing as well, 50% off. Using code ChrisBeCappinn with 2 P's and 2 N's, and OzJam. Got to give out a shout out to OzJam. Always, if you see my head go this way, I'm always looking at the live eye screen, trying to see where I can get the best of the number, man. So check all these resources out. It'll definitely help you with your handicapping process. That'll be the show for today. Best of luck on all your action. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Enjoy your Monday, man. Let's get some cash today. I'm out.